Okay, so these are the examples of your homework for 1.2. Want you to show your work on problems 3 through 13. Unless you do not have your perfect squares memorized for 1 and 2, then you're going to need to show your work for those. But hopefully by now you do have those perfect squares memorized. So remember, number 1, 12 squared means 12 times 12. And if you have that memorized, that is 144. If you do not have that memorized, you need to work that out. Multiply 12 times 12, because you will not be allowed to use your calculator on the homework quiz or test. On number 2, 7/9 squared. Now, that means 7 squared on top and 9 squared on bottom. This parentheses means both the 7 and the 9 are being squared. So that means 7 times 7 on top and 9 times 9 on bottom. So 7 squared is 49. 9 squared is 81. Now, on the ones I highlighted, you do need to show your work on your notebook paper. So I'm going to show you how to show it, show your work on the note paper on these notes. All right, so x squared means that whatever we put in for x, which is in this case 5, we're going to square that, plus, and then we got plus 3, and then parentheses we have x plus y. Now again, x is 5 and 3 is y. So that's 5 plus 3. So remember, PEMDAS means we do what's in parentheses first. So we're going to do the parentheses, 5 plus 3 is 8. Then we're going to do our exponent. So 5 squared is 25. That's 5 times 5. And then we're going to multiply 3 times 8. And that is 49. That will go right here. Okay. Number 4, 4 cubed. Well, we don't really have to have this memorized. Might be a good idea. But 4 cubed means 4 times 4 times 4. So we already know 4 times 4 is 16. And 16 times 4. If you don't know how to do that, that is 4 times 6, 24. Carry your 2. 4 times 1 plus 2 is 64. Okay, now 4 to the 6th. That's 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. There's 6 of them. So we just figured out that 4 cubed is 64. And this 4 cubed will be 64. So now we need to multiply 64 times 64. I'm going to make myself some space right here. All right, so multiplying the 4 times the 4. Carry your 1. 4 times 6 plus 1 be 25. You put your little space there if you want to. All right, so now we're doing 6 times 4. Oops. And that is, let me move that. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry by 2. 6 times 6 plus 2 will be 38. Whoops, that's 4,096. And that, notice that's way over here on the far right. So remember, whenever you're doing this one on the screen, the answer's on the far right of the screen. All right, so 4 cubed. Well, we already did 4. I did to the second power. Now we're doing to the third power. So 4 cubed is 4 times 4 times 4. 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3. Up there, I already did the 4 cubed. We found out that was 64. 3 cubed, that's 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. So this answer goes right here. And remember how to use your fraction button whenever you're doing that, or you can use the shortcut. All right, number 7. All right, so this is 0.5 cubed. That means we're going to multiply 0.5 times itself 3 times. So first, let's do 0.5 times 0.5. So when we're multiplying decimals, we're going to multiply 5 times 5. Carry my 2. 5 times 0 plus 2 is 2. If you want to go ahead and do the bottom, 0 times 5 and 0 times 0. Now we have 2 numbers to the right of the decimal. So in our problem, so it means we're going to move our decimal 2 times to the left. So this is 0.25. Now, I'm going to move over here. I'm going to take 0.25 and multiply it by 0.5. So when we multiply, we line up the numbers, not the decimals. So 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 will be 12. Carry my 1. 5 times 0 plus 1 will be 1. So again, if you want to do your zeros, that's fine. I'm not opposed. There are now 3 numbers in the problem to the right of the decimal. So that means I'm going to move my decimal to the left 3 times. So my answer, is 0.125. All right, number 8. I need some space for that one, don't I? All right, so we're going to do 7 squared. I'll do it right here. 7 squared, which is 49, minus, and then we're going to do 2 cubed, which is 8. So I did my exponents inside the parentheses. Notice I did my exponents first. I haven't subtracted yet. Now I'm going to subtract, and that will be 41 divided by 7. Now, 41 does not divide by 7 evenly. So notice it says to enter it as a simplified fraction or an integer. So 41 divided by 7 is not an integer because it doesn't divide evenly. So I have to enter it as a fraction. Whatever's first goes on top. Whatever's second goes on bottom. Number 9, we're evaluating. S is 4 and T is 6. So this is 2 times S, so that's 2 times 4, times T squared, and then minus S squared. So we need to do the exponents first. So don't multiply just yet. We're going to go ahead and do the 6 squared, so that's 36, and the 4 squared. So we can go ahead and do both those at the same time because they are both exponents, and they're separated by a minus sign. All right, so now I'm going to multiply 2 times 4. And then I'm going to multiply 8 times 36. If you need to do that, come over to the side because you can't use a calculator. And that's 288. And then subtract 16 will be 272. So on these, remember I'm showing you how I want you to show your work. Number 10. All right, so I'm going to do this one over here. So I have 3 brackets. I'm going to go ahead and do this parentheses right here. 9 minus 6 is 3. And that's 3 to the 4th power. I didn't make my 4 very good. All right, so now I need to do 3 to the 4th power. Well, 3 to the 4th power is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So that's 9 times 9, which is 81. Now I'm going to divide by 9 because we're still working inside the brackets. And now I can multiply 3 times 9. So this answer is 27. Remember, these are just examples. You're not going to have these exact problems. All right, number 10 says, the snack bar at your school has added sushi to its menu. The ingredients for one roll include sushi, rice, seaweed sheets, cucumbers, cream cheese, and 4 ounces of smoked salmon. One roll can be cut into 9 servings. Write an expression for the amount of salmon needed to make S servings of sushi. How many salmon is needed to make 18 servings, 27 servings, 90 servings, and 100 servings? What operations are needed in your calculations? And then we're going to use a table to help us organize our results. Okay? All right, so first let's look at the multiple choice. We are going to take 4 ounces of smoked salmon for each serving. So that's 4 times the number of servings. We're cutting it. That means we're dividing it into 9 servings. So that's going to look like this as a fraction. 4 times the number of servings divided by 9. Number of servings of sushi. So that will be choice A. Now, for the next part, we're going to use S for 18 first. So 4, that's going to be the 4 times the S. That's 4 times 18 divided by 9. Now, when you're multiplying 2 things on top like this, you can actually kind of reduce first. So 9 and 18 will both divide by 9. So this is 1 and this is 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. Just trying to show you the little shortcuts here so you can be a little quicker whenever you're doing these calculations. All right, so that's 8. Next one is 27. So I'm multiplying 4 times 27 and dividing by 9 again. I'm using this expression every time. So again, I'm going to reduce. 9 and 27 both divide by 9. So 4 times 3 is 12. All right, let's do 90. I'm getting a little bigger. 4 times 90 divided by 9. Again, 9 and 90 will both reduce by 9. And so 4 times 10 is 40. And then the last one, 100. 4 times 100 divided by 9. Now this time, I can't divide by 9. Nothing reduces. I'm going to multiply 400 times 4 times 100, and then divide by 9. Now it says round to the nearest whole number as needed. So far we haven't had to round because everything divided evenly. But this one is not. So we're going to divide 9 into 400. 400 is on top, so it goes inside, and 9 is on bottom, so it goes outside. So dividing, subtracting, bringing down, and notice that this is going to be, oops, sorry, that's 36. This is going to keep going. I'm going to keep repeating to be, oops, I don't know what I'm doing, 4 every single time. So this is 44.4 repeating. Rounding to the whole number, we talked about rounding, that would be 44. So be careful, watch these directions that are in parentheses. They're very important to getting these correct. All right, let's look at the last two. Number 12, we're evaluating x is 2. Let me go back to a pen on that. X is 2 and y is 2. So this is 2 to the third power minus 2 times 2. Remember, do exponents first. 2 to the third power, that's 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Minus, multiplying here, I can go ahead and multiply that, 4. And the reason I was able to do that is because there was a minus sign between the exponent operation and the multiplication operation. So now I get 4. Another little shortcut that you can take. All right, and number 13, x is 3, y is 5. So 3 times 5 minus 9 over 3. Now, this time I can't simplify because that minus sign is not the same thing as multiplication. So I need to go ahead, I can't simplify by the 3. What I'm trying to tell you is you can't divide both of these things on top by 3 that's on the bottom. So we need to simplify the top. 3 times 5 is 15. And then we have 15 minus 9. And then divide by 3, and that's going to be 2. All right, so those are how I want you to show your work, especially on problems 3 through 13. Remember to you need to memorize those problems of perfect squares for problems 1 and 2.